And now a super exciting tournament here. We got Carlos Alcaraz and we got Yannick Sinner both playing in this tournament in the 2026 Doha ATP 500 level tournament. This is the draw, reaction, review, and predictions for this tournament. Of course, let's start out first by looking at last year's results to refresh our memories. So in 2025, the semifinals were Jack Draper versus Yuri Lehechka. Draper got the win there. Andre Rublev over Felix. Andre got the win, and then Andre ends up defeating Jack Draper in the final in 3 sets. As we head to 2026, the seeds, as mentioned before, number 1 seed, Carlos Alcaraz, number 2 seed, Yannick Sinner, number 3 seed was supposed to be Alexander Bublik, but he withdrew from the tournament. 4 seed, Daniil Medvedev. Then we got Andre Rublev, Jakub Mensik, Karen Khachanov, and Yuri Lehechka in at the 8 seed. Now, this is a little bit late as some matches have already happened, but it's still pretty early in the tournament. I still think it's worth a draw reaction review. I have not seen this draw at all either, so I have no idea who's matched up with who are the seeds in Alcaraz and Sinner's section, no idea, and I will find out in a moment. All right, let's start out with the top half. And right off the bat, I'm seeing Carlos Alcaraz versus Arthur Rinderknecht in the first round. That is not the easiest opponent for Alcaraz in a first round. Of course, I'll be picking Alcaraz, though, but it is not the easiest opponent. We got Fucsovics, Khabib, Mochizuki, Khachanov. Pretty easy section for Alcaraz in general, being matched up against Khachanov. Definitely expect Alcaraz to make the semifinals from there. Then in the bottom half of the top half, we have Medvedev versus Jerry Shang in the first round, and we got Medvedev and Andre Rublev matched up in the same section as seeds. Seeing Ugo Humbert in there, Tsitsipas as well, just with young Fabio Marajan. Wow, that's a very interesting first round match. Humbert Marajan, the winner of that could definitely be dangerous in this tournament. As we head to the bottom half, we have Yuri Lehechka matched up with no seed because of Bublik's withdrawal from the tournament. So it's going to be that. I mean, that's a huge opportunity for Lehechka. Also, I'm seeing Zizou Bergs and Pericard and Arthur Fils, even though, as it appears, Arthur Fils lost the first set to Kamil Majak. Carreño Busta as well in there. I think there's definitely big opportunity for Lehechka, Bergs, Pericard, Fils, or Majak to make a run, especially with no other seeded player. So big opportunities for those players. Jakub Mensik was able to already get that first round win. Did lose that first set though. Then we got Triple Z versus Carballes Baena in the first round. Popper was able to get the job done. And Sinner, tough match against Makic in the first round. And then he's going to have to go face Popperin in the second. Not the easiest. Maybe Mensik in the quarterfinals. Sinner is on upset alert because of the path he's going to have to take. This could be super tricky for Yannick Sinner. And this one, super tricky. But yeah, in terms of predictions, Carlos Alcaraz, his draw compared to Sinner's, I mean, it's nothing. I got Alcaraz going to the semifinals for sure. In the bottom section of the top half, I'm looking at Fabian Marajan, and I cannot get away from picking him to make it to the quarterfinals. I have him defeating Ugo Humbert and then defeating the winner of the Young and Rublev, probably facing off against Medvedev, maybe Tsitsipas in the quarterfinals. I'm going to go with Medvedev, Marajan in the quarterfinals. And let me tell you, they played a really tightly contested Australian Open match. I'm going to go with Medvedev, a little bit of chalk to make it to the semifinals, but I would not be surprised if Marajan is able to do it. Or Ugo Humbert. I just feel like Ugo Humbert, for some reason, is just much worse. Not much worse, but doesn't get the results that he does on the indoor hard courts as he does on the outdoor hard courts. So I would expect Marajan to defeat Ugo Humbert. But if Ugo Humbert is playing at his level, I could see him make it to the quarterfinals. And he just defeated Medvedev last week at ATP Rotterdam. So definitely that Humbert-Marajan match is going to be a very pivotal one in this one. But I will be going with Medvedev versus Alcaraz in the semifinals in that one. In the bottom half, I mean, it's tough to pick against Sinner, but I might be picking against Sinner here. To defeat Makic, Popperin, and then most likely Mensik. is going to be a tricky run. But I'm not gonna. I can't pick against Yannick Sinner. I'll be going with Yannick Sinner to the semifinals. But just let the record show that this is a tough draw. This is a really tricky draw for Yannick Sinner. But I do have Yannick Sinner to the semifinals. Facing him is going to be one of either Lehechka, Bergs, Pericard, Majdak. Ooh, Arthur Fils, if he can turn it around as well, I would like to mention him. Lehechka, I would pick Lehechka in this for sure if he had a better start to the year. If I knew he was at his A level, even though I'm not exactly 100% certain that's the case, I will be picking Yuri Lehechka to make it to the semifinal. That leaves Lehechka versus Sinner in the semifinals, which I will be going with Yannick Sinner to win that one and make the final. And then Alcaraz Medvedev, I'm going Alcaraz. To no surprise, I'm going to be going Alcaraz versus Sinner to in the final for this one. And I do think Yannick Sinner. I feel like every time in this rivalry between Alcaraz and Sinner, whenever Alcaraz gets a big win, Sinner responds. Whenever Sinner gets a big win, Alcaraz responds. And I do think that Sinner might be just a tiny bit more motivated in this one due to his failures at the Australian Open. Failures is a strong word. I mean, he still had a good tournament in general, obviously, and played against Novak Djokovic on the wrong day. But yeah, so I will be picking Sinner to win the ATP Doha 500 level tournament against Carlos Alcaraz this year.